Do you like my shirt? Yeah, it's very nice, I agree. I'm very proud of my shirt. Well, I have to tell you a story. When I've learned that I've been invited to be a keynote speaker here, my wife told me, hey, we are going to buy you a new shirt. And we went together, we went to the store, and by the way, she chose the color. It's the first time I have a pink shirt. I hope you like it. I'm very proud of it. The funny thing with the shirt is that this shirt traveled from San Francisco, where I live, to here, Paris, 9,000 kilometers. And by the way, it traveled much more than that, because the cotton has been grown in India, then it has been sent to Bangladesh, where the shirt itself was fashioned, then packed into a container, a ship on Indian Ocean, then travel to the Panama Canal, and arrive back to San Francisco, where I bought it, take the plane, and jump here. So you can see that my shirt made a great big travel, and it's a very simple item. If you look at, for example, a laptop, well, you have 23 different countries which build different parts of the laptop, and you have an extremely complex supply chain to provide this laptop that then you use so easily. And this is extremely complex. And when you want to manage such systems, like a very big global supply chain, what happens when there is a hurricane in Texas? How is it going to happen? The price of your laptop. And it's extremely complex. This complexity is, by the way, everywhere. If you look outside, I mean, there is no windows, but in the city is a very, very complex system. In a city, you have much different system in interaction. You have the energy system, gas, electricity. You have the transportation system with the public transportation, the cars, and you have the social networks interacting with all that. You have the political network, all kind of systems which interact one with the other, and at the end, for example, make the quality of life in the city where you live. And sometimes something happens somewhere. For example, the government make a decision, and then some people are not happy, and then as a cascading effect, at the end of the day, there is a strike, and well, this is the kind of experience, by the way, you're going to live today, because there is a strike today. No, I'm kidding. There is no strike in France, you know that. So what I want to talk about today is complexity. Complexity is everywhere, in every industry, not only in industry. I've talked about the supply chain, I've talked about the city, but complexity is also in your own body. You're a lot of cells interacting one with the other, and at the end of the day, you have these fantastic persons that you are. And you have to manage this complexity, and in your business, think of your business. Wow, you're facing a lot of complex issues, and these complex issues very often comes from all these interacting different systems which, working together, create behaviors, things that happen. It's very hard to understand and to predict. And what do we do when we are facing complexity? Well, we try to get rid of it. We try to think in silo. Oh, there is no this complexity. I'm going to think in silo. I'm going to try to solve the problem without considering the complexity. Why? Because when you have a complex system, if you move something here, it can have, by cascading effect, an effect here. Well, make a step back. Assume that what you want is to have this effect here. It would be great to be able to know that by changing a little thing here, you can have this effect and do what you want. It would be fantastic. It will bring you a fantastic value for your business, for your organization. And so the question is it possible? And, well, the very good news I want to share with you is, yes, this is possible. And this is possible to understand this complexity, to manage this complexity, and to create value from this complexity. And this is possible thanks to two letters, AI. AI, you've heard of that. Artificial intelligence. Wow, this fantastic software that allows a machine to learn a lot of things and to do fantastic predictions. Well, no. Unfortunately, with AI, with artificial intelligence, you're not going to be able to manage these very complex systems. Why is it so? Well, for a simple reason. What you need to manage this complexity, to manage all these systems together, what you need is to understand the different systems, understand the different silos. And once you have the understanding of the different silos, you have to understanding the coupling, the interaction between the different silos. And once you have understood that, you have to be able to forecast what's going to happen now. And this, unfortunately, artificial intelligence cannot do that. Why? Because artificial intelligence has been created to mimic the human brain, and the human brain has mainly two capabilities. Yours are much more than that, but let's assume that we can classify. The first one is recognition. You can recognize. I can recognize you, and maybe if I see you tomorrow in a crowd, I can recognize you very easily. I cannot explain how I do that, but I can do that. And the second thing is reasoning. We are able to reason, we are able to understand, we are able to imagine, we are able to do a lot of things with our brain, not only recognition. Unfortunately, artificial intelligence today, 99% of the time, is based on neural network, machine learning, and this is only doing the recognition part. Which means, in a nutshell, what you can do with artificial intelligence is fantastic, but globally what it targets, it is what the human brain is able to do in less than 1 second. And artificial intelligence is doing that in a great way. Unfortunately, what we need is the other part. We need the reasoning. We need the understanding. And this artificial intelligence is not able to do it. So I was talking about AI. So if it's not artificial intelligence, what is it? It's what we call augmented intelligence. Rather than trying to mimic the human brain and trying to have a computer that is able to learn how to reason, to learn the understanding, which we are very, very, very far away from being able to do, what we want to do is to build on these machines which exist and which are able to reason. Human. I'm able to reason. I mean, you're able to reason. Maybe sometimes I'm able to reason. And the idea is, in this situation, in this very complex situation, we can use that and we can augment that. And so we have created a technology that we call this augmented intelligence technology that allows us, when facing a very complex situation with a lot of subsystems interacting, we are able to encapsulate the expertise of different experts, encapsulate this expertise in models, putting these models together, linking them, and once we have that, we are able to run simulation, to do what-if scenarios, to test what happens if I move this little thing here, is it going to have this big impact there? And once you have such tools, which is extremely powerful, well, you can do things which are great, for example, for the industrial sector, because you can go from siloed decision management with siloed expertise and local optimization to what we call augmented intelligence, in which you interconnect all these expertise, all this knowledge that you encapsulated in the software, and then you're able to do global optimization. And this is extremely efficient. What can you do with that? Well, you can address problems that you thought were very, very hard to solve or almost impossible to solve. Just a couple of examples of what we do. For example, what if there is a terrorist attack on the water network? How can you manage that? How can you prevent that? And how can you act when it's going to happen? Well, using augmented intelligence, we protect 4 million people in the suburb of Paris, just in case of this event, by being able to test different scenarios and to be prepared, and on the fly, if it happens, to react. We are doing that also for trying to understand how to react to an epidemic. If there is an epidemic, you have a number of vaccines. Who to vaccine? Do I have to close the airports? Does it make sense? And this is something that you can do with augmented intelligence. And for example, in more industrial sector, you can do that for electric utility. They have to make billions of investment, and some of them are using our software to optimize this billion of investment, being sure that all the renewable will be included in the grid and that the decision will be made, which ensures that we won't have a major outage in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. And so this is the kind of things you can do. So after this presentation, what I would love, if it would happen, is if you were able to change the way you think and to change the way you look at these problems. The first thing, I would like you to make 3 changes. It's not a lot, And it would be a big, big victory for me if the, the output, the outcome of my talk was that you would change that. The first thing is embrace complexity. Be the one who, when someone in the team says, oh, it's too complex, I don't know how to manage that, to see, oh, complexity, this is where there is value. This is where, if I'm able to embrace that, I can create a lot of value for my business. The second thing is do that with augmented intelligence. Augmented intelligence means coupling, mixing human intelligence and very high-end technology to be able to go beyond what our brains alone are able to do. And the third point on which I would like you to change the way you think is this is not hard. You don't need a lot of data for doing that because you do not rely from data from the past to be able to predict what's going to happen. But you're really relying on the expertise of different experts that, of course, partly you can feed with data. But you're really starting from intelligence and from human intelligence. So it can be very efficient, and it can be implemented quite fast. Well, I live in Silicon Valley, and very often in Silicon Valley, I see startup pitching venture capitalists, and they explain that they have a solution that will simplify everything. I strongly believe that this is the old way of doing. The new way, the way for tomorrow, will be to embrace complexity and to use augmented intelligence to do so. Thank you very much for your attention.